The Red Menace. We're a comedy news podcast bringing you the latest and greatest of hits from the far reaches of space, brought to you by the Disney Plus service. My name is Chris Bolson.
And I'm Alison Hoare.
Now, much to your chagrin, I've been watching The Mandalorian, which it's pretty good.
I feel like everyone has, so it kind of it checks
watching.
out. It checks out.
Yeah, and because you're like a cool hipster who's not going to consume this Star Wars content, it's my responsibility to relay The Mandalorian to you.
Let me clarify that I watched one Star Wars movie as a child, which was Star Wars Episode 1, and then I watched one Star Wars movie as an adult, which was the first one of the new batch of wars, which have been coming out.
Yeah, the newest Star Wars.
And look, I know everyone says that the original trilogy are like the best and you have to watch them. But I did try watching them, but when you're an adult and you can kind of see how low budget everything is, it's kind of harder to watch than when you're a kid and you have that nostalgia factor. And any Star Wars fan people are making it very difficult for me to motivate myself to even be vaguely interested in watching it because they all care far too much about Star Wars opinions.
This is fair. I would firstly suggest anytime someone mentions a Star War on Twitter, immediately block that person.
Yeah, it's probably for the best, really.
It's a good life choice.
Yeah.
But about the budget thing, what I'll say about The Mandalorian is that they've obviously spent an ungodly amount of money on it.
Well, it's Disney now, you know. They've got an ungodly amount of money to spend on everything.
They've spent the GDP of a small country on this TV series because I swear to God, each episode of this, it's like more than Game of Thrones money. Like that's
Jesus
what they're throwing
Christ.
around. Yeah. Like
Right.
the thing I liked about it the most is that they hired Werner Herzog to play a character, and I like Werner Herzog, very serious German documentary director, a lot.
Right.
He has a very soothing voice. Are you familiar with his works?
Give me a rundown.
Okay, the first Werner Herzog film I ever saw was called Grizzly Man, which is a documentary.
Yes, I know Grizzly Man. Okay.
Documentary about a man who went to live with bears and then was mauled by one.
Yeah.
And
it's the ending that you kind of expected but didn't really want to expect.
And the film has a lot of Werner Herzog narrating in his very somber German tones about the true brutality of nature. And that's just his whole aesthetic, really, is like solemnly saying really nihilistic shit. And it's delightful.
And he's acting in a Star Wars.
Yeah, and he just plays Werner Herzog, essentially. Like, he's not doing much in the way of acting, but my gosh, he's so very good. And it's made me realise that all blockbuster things need Werner Herzog in it. Like,
well, why not? If you can. If you've got him on your books, then get him in.
But I don't want him to be like the villain or the supporting character or something. I want Jon Snow, played by Werner Herzog.
Leading man. You want leading man.
I want him to be the action hero. He's still got it, Werner Herzog
You want him to be the prince in A Christmas Prince. You want him to be the leading man of the movie.
Alison, if Werner Herzog starred in a romantic comedy, I would watch that movie infinite times. I would
just
never
instantly.
I would never ever watch another film if Werner Herzog started a romantic comedy. If Werner Herzog made a romantic comedy, I'd think about it because that might turn out poorly. But if he was just in a standard rom-com script that was given to him. If he just sort of solemnly said, like, whenever I try and do a German accent, it comes out as a Dracula accent, which I apologise for in advance. But if he just sort of said, it was always you, and, like, just hear him really quietly and really solemnly telling this woman, at least 60 years younger than him, that she's always been the one for him. Like, play it completely straight, except it stars Werner Herzog in the Hugh Grant role.
Well,
like, that's what I want.
Sure.
Even better, the romantic other lead can be Hugh Grant.
Well, that's okay. Hugh
Grant's cool now.
Yeah,
so.
Hugh Grant seems to be, like, very hip with the young people now.
He hates Boris Johnson, and he was in Paddington 2, the best movie ever made.
Yeah.
So,
and he's probably going to come back in Bridget Jones 4, because it turns out he wasn't dead. That's the post-credit sequence in Bridget Jones.
Who'd have thought that Hugh Grant, of all people, was going to revive his career in the year 2019? That's very impressive.
I don't know. Colin Firth has never killed his career, as of yet. He seems to be solidly in a lot of things. Perhaps he's in lots of different genre movies than he ordinarily would be in. So maybe just actors in Bridget Jones, that's how you keep your career going.
What I think Hugh Grant needs to do is literally remake every Colin Firth movie and just play the Colin Firth part.
Oh, yeah.
Just make Kingsman, make King's Speech, make King's whatever the other King movies Colin Firth has made. He's made a lot of King movies.
Well, that checks out, you know. He's got a posh accent. He has to be in any movie starring British nobility.
That has the word King in the title.
Right, exactly.
So I want Hugh Grant to do all of these King films, and I just want them to be otherwise identical. You can only have to reshoot the Colin Firth bits. Just to replace all of the shots of Colin Firth with Hugh Grant, and also remove Jeffrey Rush because we don't like him now.
Yeah, we've got to fix that one up.
We've probably got to remove a few people from these flicks, unfortunately.
Yeah, look.
Replace Jeffrey Rush with Channing Tatum.
I would like to see a movie starring Channing Tatum and,
in the Jeffrey Rush role.
Yeah, well, just starring Channing Tatum in any serious role that someone else has done.
Have you seen Foxcatcher?
No, I haven't.
He does a dramatic role in that as a very shy wrestler, and he's really, really good, actually.
Channing Tatum is a shockingly good actor.
Yeah, it's very upsetting.
And
I hate it when beautiful people are talented. It's so unfair.
We were talking about this before, you know, with the whole situation of I was watching an interview with Seth Rogen for no particular reason.
Yeah.
And then, they were talking about the movie This Is the End, and they were saying, we need someone to play Danny McBride's Gimp. And then Jonah Hill was like, just give Channing Tatum a call. He'll do it.
Give Channing a buzz.
Just give Channing a buzz. And then Seth Rogen was like, I guess so. And then he just shoots him an email, and about 3 minutes later, he gets an email back from Channing Tatum saying, yeah, I'll be in the film.
I think Channing Tatum just really wants friends more than anything else. He just really wanted to hang out with his good friend Jonah Hill.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is absolutely just stringing him along.
Yeah, he's give Channing a call, just any embarrassing role.
They're going to laugh. Jonah Hill laughs at Channing Tatum behind his back, as though we don't all laugh at Jonah Hill behind his back. So,
well, when you're kind of a little bit uncool, you have to find someone who's more uncool than you to be your little, pawn,
I read an article the other day that was saying how Jonah Hill is a style icon now, and it was at that point I realised how out of sync with society I was.
Yeah, I did see an article about Jonah Hill Day, which is where a whole bunch of people go into a pub dressed as Jonah Hill, and then Jonah Hill showed up. Well, Jonah Hill didn't show up for the first Jonah Hill Day, but he showed up for the second Jonah Hill Day because he wasn't sure if the first Jonah Hill Day was ironic and they were insulting him, and he didn't want to show up to that day if they were insulting him.
Understandable.
And then he was like, these people seem genuinely interested in my fashion, so he went along.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do we want to start making podcasts? Do you have a story for me?
Let's find some news. Yeah, last week, actually, I had quite a few stories that we didn't get to, so I'm going to start with one that I chose for last week.
That works for me, because all of mine are the mainstream ones from this week that you probably also have.
There have been quite a lot of good stories this week.
There's been some solid stuff.
So let's start with one from last week, which is out of Canada. And it reminded me of a story that we did a while ago on here. Anyway, so this is on 9 News, and it says, man saves dog on Canadian highway. Finds out it's a wild coyote.
So that man just did an accidental poaching, is essentially it.
Accidentally put a coyote in his car.
We've all been there. Who hasn't done it?
It's remember the story with the Malaysian star who rescued a dog and it turned out to be a bear?
Yep.
And then she had just a bear in her apartment, which she thought was a dog. I feel like a lot of people need an education in what dogs look like. Because a lot of people seem to be forgetting what a dog is.
Well, I think that's because dogs are a bit inconsiderate in that they look like a lot of different things. Like
they look like, yeah, that's true.
People come in many shapes and sizes, but not like dogs do. Like,
well, yeah, you've got your Chihuahua, and then you've got your Great Dane. And they're supposed to be the same exact species of animal.
That's not the same animal. They're different animals, and I challenge you to convince me otherwise using your feeble science.
I can't convince you otherwise because I simply cannot believe that, like, you know, a Tibetan mountain dog is the same dog as a Chihuahua.
I'm just saying that if God wanted dogs to all be dogs, he would have made them look slightly more similar. Like,
dogs were just like the creation that he was just kind of like cut a lot of prototypes of, and he's just like, just throw them all in the world. And they're all the same species, and like, but God, you usually, the same species usually looks the same. He's like, nah, these dogs, just chuck them in. Full of dog.
I think it was created using like a Dungeons and Dragons arse, like they had a 20-sided dice and a series of random prompts, and he just kept rolling over and over and over.
And then he just put down all of those numbers.
Height, 3. Fluffy, 20. Whoa, okay, this is going to be a fucked up dog. And this is how we get poodles.
Yeah. Anyway, there's the picture that's attached to this. Is in fact the coyote in his car, looking very much like a coyote and not a dog, I must say.
Yeah.
It's nothing about it looks like a dog, a standard dog, unless you don't know what a coyote is, in which case...
At this point, it's essentially like if I said a wombat was a cat. Like, it's not...
Yeah. Well, this coyote, you can tell it's a coyote because it's got a big box that says Acme Anvil on it, you know, and dogs don't generally carry that. But coyotes do, so they can catch roadrunners. So I'm going to read the story. It says, a Canadian man who hit a dog with his car last week... A Canadian man who hit a dog with his car last week and brought it to safety was extremely surprised to find it wasn't a dog, but a young coyote. Eli Boroditsky was driving to work at night on November 27 in Manitoba when the animal ran onto the road in front of his car. He told CBC News he pulled off to the side of the road and walked over to the shoulder lane where the coyote was laying, stunned after being hit.
If you're only stunned after being hit by a car, you're a fucking tank of a coyote.
You are a coyote. Like, I feel like dogs are not that solid, unfortunately.
If I get hit by a car, I'm going to be more than stunned. I'll tell you that much.
I would probably be quite disappointed in the car driver who hit me.
I won't just be injured. I'll be upset.
I'll be like, hey man, that's really not cool. Like, I expected better of you. You have a driving license, you know. It's quite disappointing to see that you're hitting people.
That's the main emotion that most people associate with being hit by a car. It's just frustration, you know? Like,
it's like, God,
so annoying.
I had to be at work in half an hour, and now, like, my legs are mangled. Come on.
So annoying.
Like, it's so inconvenient for my day. So at first he thought it was a German Shepherd or a Husky, and was concerned about leaving the animal lying on the road. I was hesitant to leave it lying there, because I was thinking that it was a dog, and there might be wild animals around. It might get hurt. So he's worried that this dog might get attacked by a coyote, I presume.
Okay.
He's aware of the fact that there are coyotes in the area.
He understands the concept of coyote. Maybe he has heard of coyotes, but he's never seen a picture of one.
He's a person, like, in his particular faith, he's not allowed to use Google Images.
He thinks that coyotes actually look like kangaroos. Like, that's where he's at.
He thinks coyotes look like they do in the Looney Tunes. So they're usually they're standing on two legs, and they're very slim, but
also shaped kind of like a triangle.
Yeah, they are bipedal. So with abs, probably. I haven't looked at coyote in a while.
They look a lot like a kid from my high school named Tim Pearson, but with fur.
Tim Pearson.
That's my main takeaway.
Is Tim Pearson likely to listen to this?
I hope not.
Otherwise, we've probably just done a bullying, Chris.
He's a nice guy. He was very good at swimming, and he was pretty buff, but he was also triangle-shaped, but in, like, a good way, like where the shoulders were very wide.
Not catching roadrunners.
Yeah, no, he's extremely slow.
Sure.
Physically, not mentally. Mentally, he's fine.
mentally, I'm sure he's fine. Anyway, so he said he picked up the stunned animal and put it in the back seat of his car, telling CBC, "It's amazing how docile it was. I was petting it." It's like, yeah, it's got concussion because you hit it with your car. I feel like that's, I don't know about like. I personally don't know too much about like coyotes' personas, but I feel like any animal would be quite docile if you had hit it with your car.
As far as displays of strength go, hitting something with your car is you're going to really dominate that creature.
Yeah, and then you go ahead and put that inside the belly of the creature that just smashed
like,
it.
What are they going to do at that point? They're just going to have to submit. Like, there's
yeah,
nothing.
Exactly. They're just going to have to let you pat it. Sure.
Horrifying.
Now, it wasn't until a co-worker saw the animal in his car that he discovered what he had rescued was in fact a wild coyote.
What the fuck, Jerry? Why is there a fucking coyote in your car, Jerry?
It's like... I just can't imagine, like, the co-worker's reaction.
We can't keep doing this, Jerry. You need to stop bringing these animals here.
It's like, you brought a bear here last week thinking the bear was a dog. You brought a lion 3 weeks ago thinking it was a kitten.
Jerry,
and now
do you know what a dog is, Jerry? I don't think you've seen one.
I don't think you've ever seen a dog in your life. Anyway, I guess like the happy result is that, in fact, the coyote only had a few scratches and it's ready to be released into the wild. So I guess good on him for rescuing the coyote and making sure the coyote was safe.
Now the coyote can go back to playing chicken with cars.
But I don't think it's ideal to put a coyote in your car. It just doesn't seem like a very good idea.
I never let anything with teeth come into my car. That's my rule. So
no humans.
No humans under the age of about 75 is my rule.
And if they're over the age of 75, their dentures must be removed prior to boarding the car.
100%. And they've got to sign a waiver saying that if they gum me, I can throw them out.
And the babies as well. You can have, like, some newborns in the car.
Yeah, but obviously they have to have Hannibal Lecter masks on. You can't trust those little fuckers.
Sure.
Can I bring you a story from...
Of course you can bring me a story.
Let's just go with probably the biggest story of the recent times, or
probably
at least one of...
Probably the most important story of the decade.
One of the most important story of the decade. So this is from ABC News, our public broadcaster. This is written by Sophie Meixner. Penis fish wash up on California beach by the thousands after storms disturb sandbar.
I mean, it had to be shared. It's basically the most important story.
It's extremely...
I've had about 3 people send me this story.
Understandable.
Saying, like, you have to talk about this. And I'm like, look, I'm obliged to talk about this.
Now, let me just double check who it was that sent me this one. It was my dad. So take from that what you will. What message my dad is trying to send me with this penis fish story. Beachgoers in Northern California have been stunned by the sight of what looks like thousands of disembodied penises washing up on the shoreline. Which is quite a concept, you know? Like, and if you look at the landscape image of the, like, thousands of...
It's quite alarming.
It's quite grim in, like, a reverse Handmaid's Tale kind of way.
There are a lot of birds, though.
Well, I mean, yeah, they've got dicks to eat.
They've got a lot to consume. Now, just quickly before we get too deep into this story, I have to point out that when The Guardian shared this on their homepage, you know, it was alongside a lot of election articles. And so, you know, The Guardian has like a little banner on the top of the picture. And then it's got the picture and then it's got the headline. The banner on the top of the picture on The Guardian homepage said Johnson landslide. Which...
You know what? I didn't think you were going to be able to make me happy about the UK election, but you've managed it, Alison. And that's
The Guardian has managed to turn the UK election result around into something good.
I realize this sounds like hyperbole, but I think that's a genuine achievement of a joke. To take something fucking horrific.
Yeah.
And to turn it into something that made me smile. You know?
Right, yeah.
Good on you, The Guardian. This is why I like The Guardian.
Good on you, The Guardian. So would you like to get a little bit more into the ABC rendition of this story?
A recent storm in Drake's Beach, north of San Francisco, uncovered a mass of worms from their burrows deep under the sand.
Okay, like, the thing is about this, it's been sold as a fish. But it's not a fish, it's a worm.
It's just a fugly worm.
Right, and so I feel like this whole penis fish saga is fake news.
I think that there's a real penis fish out there somewhere.
There probably is, and it's probably like, hey, I'm not out there on the beach, I'm here in the ocean. Probably the deep, deep ocean.
Well, let's go. We've got, like, string theory, infinite universes, right? Which means that somewhere out in the... by definition, somewhere out in the infinite reaches of space, there was a human penis that fell off and then evolved into a fish. Like, that...
I guess so. Somewhere out there.
There is a 100% chance, according to science, that exists somewhere in one of many universes. So
okay,
all I'm saying is that
I can't argue against that logic.
Penis fish is real, and we should all bow down before penis fish.
Yeah. I just... The picture that's going around with this, you know, when I was scrolling by on my Twitter feed, like, I'm like, is it appropriate for me to open this picture in the office? I'm like, well, yes, it's a worm. But also, if someone looks from a distance, it's going to look like, you know...
Well, what's funny about it is when you get up to it and it's obviously translucent, and you realise if this is what your penis looks like, then you've got a problem.
You probably need some help.
Yeah, like, I'm very pale, and my skin is nearly translucent, but it don't look like that. So,
sure.
like, you know, if it's see-through, I think you need to consult a doctor about it.
Just go to the doctor. That's probably an important thing to do.
The creatures, which are known as fat innkeeper worms, which is also quite good,
It sure is.
Or Urixus calpo, were soon dubbed penis fish due to the phallic characteristics and distinctive colouring.
Sure.
Biologist Ivan Parr wrote in the journal By Nature that the same phenomenon had been reported in other areas of the California coast.
Of course it's California.
Well, where else are the penis fish going to go? They need to party.
They need to go to California. They need their weed. They need their... I don't know what else there is in California. Probably Hollywood, I suppose.
I just, like, if you look at this landscape photo and, like, zoom into it, it's some, like, Book of Revelations shit.
There's a lot to take in, really.
It's a Where's Wally from hell. Like...
Jesus.
Except if Wally would be dead or burnt at the stake because it should not be allowed to exist. These birds who are flocking to this are sickos.
These birds who are flocking to it are doing God's work for removing the curse from the beach.
That is true, actually. But just, like, if one of these birds eats... From afar look a lot like sweet potatoes. But I have a hunch don't taste like sweet potatoes.
I wouldn't imagine so. Chris, I just found something. The Korean name for this curious creature is Gaibul, which translates as dog dick.
It's a lot like an H.P. Lovecraft creature. Like, it's unknowable as to how it exists or how it... You know what I mean? Like, I just look at it and I can't comprehend it.
I do like, though, that we as a human species, no matter which culture we come from, we are inclined to name this creature after its phallic shape.
The dickfish, yeah. Well, I mean, it's like whenever there's a flower or a plant that looks like a vagina, it becomes like a vagina plant. Like, that's just what it is.
That's how it's named, yeah.
Do you have another story for me that's not about dickfish?
I do, but right now I'm just scrolling through this article and seeing a lot of pictures of this fish.
Is it giving you some feelings that are broadly negative?
It's been sold in a market as food to eat, and that's giving me a lot of feelings that are broadly negative. But it could be delicious, I don't know.
It's definitely making me reconsider my bisexuality, I'll say that much.
Okay, which story should I jump into next? Should we jump into some, like, real controversy that's been going down?
Yeah, why not?
Here in Australia.
Let's get mad.
Let's get mad. Actually, let's jump into the war on Christmas. You've probably read this story.
I don't know if I have.
We're getting festive. We're getting to that time of year where, certain news outlets churn out stories about how much Christmas is being ruined by lefties.
Oh yeah, we ruin everything.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a story along those lines, which, to be fair, I did discover when someone shared it on Twitter, because they were discussing it on, I believe it was Sunrise, when this was being rolled out. Most of the commentators were being like, oh, this is disgusting outrage. And then one of the commentators was just like, I don't care. She was just like, I think it was Jane Caro, actually, and she said, I'm pretty sure every year we have this same story, and it's just about some random school somewhere that does something, and then we're all talking about it, and it's really boring. It's like,
I love when it just gets too much for the celebrities, and they have to have a meta conversation about how bullshit their job is.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they get to go back to doing their job.
Yeah, essentially. So this is from... Look, I feel questioned even bringing this story up, but one element of it I just thought was very good. So This is from the Geelong Advertiser, which is a news.com.au adjacent page. And anyway, it says, Melbourne Childcare Centre ditches Santa for sustainability pirate.
Now, I believe you've told me about this one, but I didn't read it because I'm such a good friend.
Look, we have shared it because it's quite funny. And I did debate bringing this up, but then I'm like, no, I have to give publicity to Sustainability Pirate, because Sustainability Pirate sounds like a decent dude. I don't know. I've never met Sustainability Pirate. But look, also, let's get into this disgusting controversy.
Also, Alison, if you send me a story, there's a solid 50% chance I haven't read it. So,
yeah, you'll just read the headline.
Pretty much.
That's how it works, right?
That's how news is designed to be consumed
exactly.
in 2019.
A Melbourne childcare centre has been accused of taking the Christmas out of Christmas after making the decision to replace Santa with a sustainability pirate. Parents reportedly received an invitation from the inner-city childcare centre that discarded end-of-year traditions and opted to have a get-together picnic with fresh food to celebrate the year's end. Isn't that disgusting, Chris?
Yeah, I only accept frozen food. That's repulsive.
A disgusting end-of-year picnic with fresh food exchange.
Foul.
Disgusting. War on Christmas. Awful. It's not within, the Christmas spirit to eat fresh food.
That's repulsive.
A parent sent the invite to 3AW radio host Neil Mitchell. Spoiler alert, that's the only reason this is news. It's because one parent decided that they didn't like it and sent it to a radio host on a shock jock channel. Anyway, she described the celebration as taking the Christmas out of Christmas and accused the centre of operating in a deep inner-city hipster world.
Okay. Is it in the inner city? Where is it located?
It is in Melbourne. I believe, Melbourne. Yeah, inner city childcare centre in Melbourne.
I'm sorry, you just got to move, dog. This place is not for you.
If you don't want hipster culture affecting your children, don't send them to a childcare centre in the hipster heartland.
She just wants to reverse gentrify Melbourne. Is that so much to ask?
Right, exactly. The invitation read, "This year's party will be a get-together picnic and fresh food swap for children and families to celebrate the end of year." Disgusting.
Filth.
Horrible. My child needs to see a fat red man with a beard. And my child needs to get some sugary candy canes. My child can't get fresh food. Disgusting.
My child needs to sing about Jesus. My son needs to sing about the Son of God named Jesus. And
yeah.
Okay. Every other religion in the world besides Christianity experiences persecution on a genuinely horrific level.
Sure.
Christianity's persecution that it receives, the vast majority of the time, is someone didn't take it very seriously.
Yeah, in the West, for sure.
Yeah, and it's just very hard to feel sorry for it.
Any time a Christian in a predominantly Christian country complains about Christian persecution, it's always like, someone said the Jesus fish on the back of my car was tacky. You know, that's the level of persecution
that's basically racist right there.
Yeah,
like,
it's basically hate speech, what's happening to them when someone says
Exactly.
the Jesus fish looks tacky. You know, like, that's disgusting. That's disgusting that's the kind of persecution that they're receiving. I must say, I always find this war on Christmas stuff quite funny, because right now I am living in a predominantly Muslim city, and yet every bloody shopping mall is 100% decked out in Christmas decorations. And everyone there, like, regardless of religion, is standing there taking selfies with the Christmas decorations. I mean, like, here's the thing. If it's got a good aesthetic, people are going to appreciate it regardless of the background to it.
Feng shui is universal.
Exactly. Aesthetic is universal. Instagrammability is universal.
Oh, God, that's the most 21st century sentence you've ever said.
Anyway, I'm going to read a little bit more of this. So this continues, and it says, it seems to be a trend in Melbourne, with one of the city's biggest shopping precincts also dumping traditional Christmas celebrations in favour of a sustainability theme. Ugh, disgusting.
Foul.
Chapel Street Precinct Association is ditching the traditional festive routine too, and swinging it up to take advantage of the sustainability messaging this Christmas holidays. I'm feeling sick reading this. It's disgusting. War on Christmas.
Imagine if God's wonderful green earth, if we tried to keep it that colour, how fucking crazy
look,
that
if
would
you
be?
believe that God created the earth, I feel like it would be in God's interest for you to, like, take care of his creation.
I'm just saying,
in my humble opinion.
If someone invites me over to their house, I don't take a shit on the floor. You know?
Right, exactly. And you don't take a shit on the floor and then, you know...
And then get mad at them when they ask me not to.
When they ask you, could you perhaps, like, pick up that shit and maybe...
And then I'll shout, no, you do it, you're discriminating
It's like,
against me.
okay, that's fine. Look, you don't have to pick up that shit. What's done is done. But can you just not do any more
shits?
Like, can you not do more?
At which point you immediately drop trowel and do another.
Exactly. Just to, you know, rub it in the host's face. For sure. Because you're not you know, you don't want to be a filthy leftist by, like, not killing the world. You know, like, it's just disgusting. And frankly, I think it's disgusting that our kids are exposed to such shady characters. A sustainability pirate.
I mean, he is a
What's that
pirate.
all about? He is a pirate.
I've watched the filth that is the Pirates of the Caribbean films, and I know that those movies have, in no particular order, drinking, fighting, and Johnny Depp. 3 filthy, filthy things that I can't abide by.
Yeah, look, that's true. That's true.
It has a bit where Keira Knightley had to kiss Johnny Depp, the poor woman.
But they've also got objectively the best thing that's ever happened in cinema, which is right at the start when Orlando Bloom accidentally snaps the light off the wall and then puts it in the bin. And that's objectively the funniest scene in the world.
It is extremely good.
I don't know why it's so good. It just makes a really loud noise and then he looks awkward and puts it in the bin. And I'm like, that's very relatable content right there.
I think that's just how his face looks.
It's true.
Please continue. Is there more to this? I haven't actually heard about what the sustainability pirate is yet.
Well, the article doesn't really talk about what sustainability
Well, that's
pirate is.
extremely confusing, isn't
Shall
it?
we jump into another article? I'm just going to quickly bring up another article about sustainability pirate.
Let's.
I just thought, I was reading this one because it's also got lots of information about other disgusting wars on Christmas in Melbourne. Well, this is Lad Bible. Lad Bible is bound to have some quality explanation in here.
Insight.
Absolutely. I'm not going to say the name of the childcare centre in general because this is just like a random childcare centre. It doesn't deserve to be in the news.
Yeah, let's not dox a childcare centre,
Let's not
shall
dox the childcare centre like the rest of the media is doing right at this very moment. Well, this is what Lad Bible it says. Christmas parties are great because it gives you a chance to let your hair down with your colleagues and reflect on the year that was.
I've never
kids are
wanted
obviously too young to work to enjoy these little soirees. They usually get a visit from Santa to get them excited for December 25.
Don't you love Christmas parties with your colleagues? Because it's like you get to see them all get really drunk and sexually harass one another. And one time, one of my colleagues punched me in the balls at a Christmas party, and I didn't love that. And that's just my 2 cents on the matter, and I think they're bad, and I hate them. Also, I don't like corporate mandated stand-up, because it's always so fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's really not... It's not great. The worst thing about, like, office Christmas parties is the fact that, like, you're encouraged to, like, you know, be loose and enjoy, but also, like, it's a work environment, so it's kind of really weird to do that. And our office Christmas party last year was in the office.
Like the TV show?
Well, it was in the office, yeah. I guess, like, I don't know the Office TV show if they have their Christmas parties in the office, but sure.
Oh, I was trying to make a joke where it's like in the TV... I don't fucking know. I'm tired, man. Let's proceed. Once again, your sister has once again killed me, so
that's why you don't hang out with my sister. That's why I've got to come back there so you can hang out with your friend and not your friend's sister.
No, she can never be my friend. She will only ever be my friend's sister.
Exactly. That's how it works, right?
Who feeds me all these sinful drinks.
Yeah. Anyway, look, it doesn't really explain what Sustainability Pirate is, but there's a picture of Sustainability Pirate here, and he appears to be making a balloon animal for children. I'm not sure how sustainable balloons are, is the question that I've got here.
Pretty bad, I think.
Yeah, pretty not ideal for the environment, but anyway.
Well, I mean, Alison, these are hemp balloons, so they're okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a balloon animal, but it certainly looks like he's creating a balloon animal. It could be anything.
What if instead of... Okay, I want to come up with a sustainable alternative to a balloon animal. First obvious choice, wood carvings.
Spaghetti animal.
Okay, but how do you make does it have to be wet spaghetti?
Yeah, you get the wet spaghetti and you, like, shape it into an animal.
So you kind of braid wet spaghetti into an animal shape. That's good. My worry... I guess it'd just be like a soft, wet toy.
Exactly.
It's like a soft toy, but if
you're giving it to a child, the child is bound to have spaghetti all over themselves anyway because of how they eat.
Just because of how children are. Like, I've never seen a child and them not be covered in spaghetti.
Yeah, it's just the way children behave.
You basically emerge from the womb freshly covered in spaghetti. Like, that's
exactly.
just...
Oh, gosh.
You just have a spaghetti party right away.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what comes out of... That's what... People call it breast milk, but milk is a misnomer. It's actually an individual strand of spaghetti that just comes out of the nipple and goes into the baby, and they swallow it whole.
I wanted to imagine.
Like a hellish tapeworm.
I'm gonna finish this story, this little bit here.
That's maybe the worst thing I've ever said.
This is the worst thing I've ever heard. This has a quote from a parent, the parent who I guess sent this to 3AW. Yeah. It said, this has got more information about the invite. It said, this year's party will be a get-together picnic and fresh food swap for children and families to celebrate the end of year. Sustainability Pirate will be attending and we will have a nature treasure hunt. I must say, this sounds objectively fun.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
A treasure hunt?
I love
Food?
that shit.
Great.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love
Beautiful.
pirates.
And the childcare centre in question has confirmed this is a legitimate thing and has said that it's to ensure the event is inclusive for everyone.
Fair
But
enough.
parent Christopher Paulson isn't happy about the change. He's told 7 News, if anyone has any clues about the Sustainability Pirate and what drugs they are taking when they came up with that, I would like to know. All the parents are getting on social media and getting a bit cranky about it, so obviously there are some heated opinions about Santa.
I'll admit, Sustainability Pirate is an objectively terrible name.
It's not the most ideal.
They could have brought Harold the giraffe or whatever the fuck he's called.
Oh, Healthy Harold!
Healthy Harold, the smoking giraffe, as I called him, because I've never had a Healthy Harold that didn't reek of cigarette smoke.
How many articles do you think are written about this?
At least 30.
Yeah, I've got Daily Mail, 7 News, a Lad Bible, another Daily Mail, 10 Daily, 7 News again.
What are we doing, man?
Republic.
That's not real.
Republic World. What is this website, Republic World?
Can I bring you a story kind of from last week, but we got sent it about an hour after we recorded last week by my intern, Marianne.
Oh, Marianne.
She just wasn't quick enough. No. So you've probably almost certainly heard about this one, but man eats banana artwork.
Yes, I certainly have.
In plain sight of art aficionados and influencers, a man removed a banana worth over £100,000 from the Art Basel exhibition in Miami Beach, Florida on Saturday.
Oh gosh, this is the best.
And then ate it. It happened
of
on
course.
It happened on the second to last day of the art show, where much fuss and head scratching this week had been over a solitary banana, an overripe one, duct taped to a wall. Three buyers paid between £90,000 and £150,000 for this week for limited edition pieces featuring a single banana created by artist Mazurio Catalan and titled Comedian. Each came with a certificate of authenticity and replacement instructions, which perhaps should have included a disclaimer for display only.
Okay.
I need to immediately say that I like the description of this as an overripe banana, because the one good scene in the film Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 is the scene where Paul Blart goes to the warehouse and there's a man there eating his lunch, and his lunch is one single banana that looks about 10,000 years old, and it's just brown and repugnant.
Well, I like to believe that. Well, I don't like to believe this. Maybe this is like what made, Kevin James who he is that when he was a child, that's all his mum put in his lunchbox for him.
That makes sense, actually. So that's actually Kevin James's diet, and the set person was just like, let's work with this.
We need to, it's like we need some food for this scene, and then they just got Kevin James's lunchbox, and then they're like, this is really what your lunchbox is, and he's like, it sure is.
Shortly before 2 p.m. Saturday, a New York City-based performance artist, David DeTuna, peeled the taped banana from the wall and devoured it. An Instagram video posted by DeTuna showed.
I love this.
He grinned and raised the half-eaten banana as if making a toast. Another video posted on Twitter showed Mr. DeTuna appearing to be escorted out of the gallery Periton space as bemused and stupefied art patrons watched. Now, he is seemingly... Apparently that the gallery is not taking any action against Mr. DeTuna.
No.
So what I've learned from this is it's legal to eat very expensive art.
Well, see, in this case... the articles that I read, he was justifying it as he was creating art by eating the artwork.
Given how popular this has become, he's not wrong.
He was, well, exactly. So now I'm thinking I would like to go to the Louvre and chow down on the Mona Lisa.
Well, it's not a big painting. That's very achievable. Like, you could eat that.
Sure. I'm just creating art from the art.
I actually think we need to set our sights a little bit higher, and I would like to eat the entire roof of the Sistine Chapel. It's going to take a while, but I'm going to give it a shot.
What about the Statue of David?
Ooh, what about the Statue of Liberty?
Just eat the Statue of Liberty.
Now, we might have to grind it down and do it over a series of months.
But make sure you check it for clues first. So that,
yes,
the National Treasure, which is a documentary, as we know, that you get all the clues off it before you eat it. Otherwise, Nicolas Cage will have to be, searching through your droppings to find little clues. In
the TV show The Sopranos, because it started in the year 2000, and it had the opening credits has, shots of the New York skyline. So after 9/11... After 9/11, they had to Photoshop out the Twin Towers. And I think that once I've eaten the Statue of Liberty, National Treasure 3 is going to have to Photoshop the Statue of Liberty out of so many sequences.
Oh, exactly. Because as we know in National Treasure 3, the Statue of Liberty is Nicolas Cage's new love interest. And so she appears in a lot of scenes.
And they wanted to use practical effects which is just to use the real one. But unfortunately, because I've eaten it, they are going to have to do they're going to have to replace the Statue of Liberty with a digital double, much like for Justice League, they had to delete Henry Cavill's moustache. And it's going to be just as disconcerting as Henry Cavill's face was in the Justice League movie, is when Nicolas Cage kisses this CGI statue.
I mean, kissing a real statue is quite disconcerting, but CGI statue it's some uncanny valley kind of stuff there.
People didn't expect it, but National Treasure 3 actually did get an R rating, and that was initially because of like some coarse language stuff, but they were just like, you know what,
gosh.
Let's live a little, and it does have some, I'm sure you know where this is going, but some very graphic sex scenes between Nicolas Cage and you've heard jokes similar to this one before, so you're used to the construction.
Vein. I'm used to the setup. Look, I think when National Treasure 3 inevitably comes out, we all need to see it.
Oh yeah, we need to support Nick and his great
cinema.
work.
So we need to go, like, make like a whole thing of it, right? Like, go out, get some dinner, see the movie, come home, deconstruct the movie. Perhaps before watching the movie, we should watch the first two so that we understand the entire canon of the films.
Complex plot.
The very complex and deep lore of the National Treasure cinematic universe.
Here's my thing, is I feel that it's actually fairly likely that if there is a National Treasure 3, it will be straight to Netflix at some point.
Probably Disney Plus, because it's a Disney film.
Oh, okay. Well, here's my problem, though, is in order for a film to be submittable for Oscar consideration, it does have to screen at, like, a theatre, so it's super important.
We should bring it to a theatre ourselves.
Okay, because I want it to get the Best Picture nom. Probably not win, if I'm being honest, but the Best Picture nom that it's going to deserve.
Yeah, exactly. And I want all of that. I want Riley Poole. I don't know the name of his actor, but I would like Riley Poole to receive the Best Actor nomination.
Would he be Best Lead Actor or Best Supporting Actor?
Best Lead Actor. Nicolas Cage can get the Supporting Actor.
I think in a first, the woman who plays the Statue of Liberty in the CGI role is going to get a nomination for... Well, I mean, it'll just be Andy Serkis. We'll just get Andy Serkis to do it. That's like his whole thing. And that'll be...
Yeah.
Everyone will be like, this is really an Oscar for Gollum, but that's bullshit. It's an Oscar for how great of a job he did in playing the Statue of Liberty.
Well, look, they'll give the Best Actress award to Andy Serkis, and it will be a whole controversy. But, that's how the Academy is, right? That men will be even nominated for the Women's
Awards.
The Women's Awards. Because we can't have any Wims winning.
One step forward, a few leaps onto the floor and backwards.
Exactly.
We've gone wildly off track, but do we want to just finish the podcast?
Can we just do like a quick crime alert first?
Yeah, okay.
I believe you know about this crime, just because this is an ongoing case in South Australia, about a lion costume which was stolen during a break-in.
Oh, I do like this.
Yeah, I'm in the South Australia Police Keeping South Australia Safe website. Yeah. And so I'm going to read this in a police officer voice, because the lion costume has been stolen during a break-in.
Rightio then.
Police are appealing for help from the public to track down a lion costume stolen from a Woodville South home during a break-in. The bespoke lion costume...
What a great combination of words.
The bespoke lion costume features green embroidery on the chest, paw pads and nose. The theft occurred sometime between 29th of November and 9th of December. This bespoke lion costume, those of you who may be a little bit more cluey would realise this is a fursuit. So if anyone has seen a fursuit roaming around in South Australia with some bespoke markings, please let the South Australian Police know.
My favourite kind of article is the one where there is an undisclosed sexual element to it. Like, if, say, near Burning Man, a handcuff factory got robbed, you'd be like, okay, well, we know what's going to be done with these.
We know, yeah.
It's like if there's a huge order of animal costumes, again, near Burning Man, you're like, okay, we understand what is here. The article can't say it.
No, the article here, this is an alert from the South Australian Police, right?
Yeah.
It's just like a bespoke lion costume, and then you scroll down and you see, it's a furry suit. It's a fursuit.
Well, I'm just saying that...
It's very, it's got some very thick legs on this fursuit.
It's a fucking tank of a fursuit.
Yeah. I just, like...
Well, if I'm going to get fucked by a lion, I want it to be a muscular lion, you know?
There you go. I just, look, this break-in was clearly targeting the fursuit. So it's someone within the furry community. If you're a furry, check all your friends. See if their fursona is a lion with green things on it.
Embroidery.
With green embroidery, exactly.
And also, obviously, kids, don't embroider lions. Lions don't like it when you do that.
No, don't try and sew a lion.
Can we finish up?
Yeah, let's finish up.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram at Red Menacecast or on Facebook at The Red Menace Podcast. You can find our merch on tpublic.com. And, you know, I just encourage everybody to find their own fursona and don't steal other people's.
My fursona is a dog, but I am going to draw it as a coyote.
Mine's Sonic the Hedgehog from the movie, but the old one before they changed it to look better.
Jesus Christ. With teeth, with human teeth.
With human teeth, yes. And then
that's the most important part, I think.
They're my teeth because the skin is skin tight to my lips, so you're just seeing my teeth through it.
Just might as well cut the hole so it goes around your lips, so your lips are visible as well.
Oh, it's horrifying.
Sonic the Hedgehog with human teeth and human lips.
But not even blue lips, they're just my lip colour. They're just like a pasty pink.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Good luck and good night.
Farewell.